Etateresa Asmorandes.
Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, has conferred with National Investment and Job Opportunity Creation Committee at his office. The discussion focused on ways of ensuring investment, protection, expansion, and job opportunity. Some participants of the discussion raised various issues that needs more attention, among others.
I think it is vital if we work on modernizing agriculture sector. Our country is rich in economic opportunities. If we used our resources, we can address the existing problems.
On the event, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed stressed the need to improve investment situation and reduce unemployment.
The key work of both federal and regional government is improving investment climate and minimizing joblessness. Due to lack of jobs, the youth are becoming addictive and engaged in crime activities.
The Premier said his government has planned to create job opportunities for 3 million people in the upcoming 2019-20.
We should create jobs for 3 million job seekers in the upcoming 2019-20 fiscal year. We can do that. We have made enough preparation. If we work on it with commitment, it will be succeeded. Even we can go beyond that.
Minister of Agriculture Omar Hussein stated that the government is reforming the institution and revising policy to suit for investment attraction. Ethiopia and Israel held a seminar focusing on agricultural cooperation in Finfinne. Ephraim Tafarra reports.
Israel is a millionaire friendship of Ethiopia that is working in agroeconomic and security spheres. Israel becomes a leading country in tackling desert by imposing agricultural technologies like drip irrigation that enables early warning, thermal imaging, and optimizing use of water. Unlike Ethiopia, where only 5% of arable land is irrigated. Cognizant to the Embassy of the State of Israel to Ethiopia in collaboration with Ministry of Agriculture staged seminar on cooperation in agriculture in Finfinne city. In the seminar, NGOs, investors, ministry attendants has taken part. The seminar prime focus are to launch the fourth season of smallholder horticulture of 5 years and to pave a way of squaring investment attractions. Henceforth, the project will incubate 5,000 Ethiopians, though it is notable that 70% of the workforce is agricultural based, despite of the fact that 30% are below the poverty line. In this vein, the project enhances avocado nurseries, plantation and export of avocados to Europe market. To ascertain the productivity, solar energy irrigation system, intercropping farming strategy, drip irrigation were highly deployed on a plot of land. Israel supplies 500,000 avocado seedlings per year in the imported 5,000 seasons to drive the project. On the occasion, multiple foreign investors in Ethiopia has presented their work as those are working on agriculture sector. This status has raised impediments that hassle their achievement, which lies on logistic constraints, high inflation and export regulations.
That will deal with such product for exports with proper trained experts as well as facility like laboratory.
Another practical problem, we are growing food, and it has to be under all the international food standards in the world, so we shall be able to export.
Minister of Agriculture Omar Hussein noted the ministry is reforming the institution and policy synergies that alleviate the chronic problems.
We are working a lot at the institution to reform the sector so that the sector will be attractive for the private sector. Otherwise, using the trend that we are accustomed with, smallholder took us to this end, but I don't think it will take us more roads, which is waiting for us. So in that regard, we are working a lot.
Adding the government is abundantly keen to promote value chain system, he said.
The horticulture structure comes to the Ministry of Agriculture. It's all about me to be blamed hereafter. Those days, horticulture tried to stand alone and then split into two, go to Ministry of Agriculture and Investment Commission, but this time the government decided to bring all the value chain to the Ministry of Agriculture.
Ambassador of Israel to Ethiopia, Ambassador Rafael Marov, accentuated Israel government is committed to sustain agricultural vendors in Ethiopia.
I will say that at the end of the day, we're all partners in this venture to contribute to the economic growth and well-being of Ethiopia. If it's the government, if it's the private sector, if it's the NGOs, we are all having the same aim. And therefore we should continue to work together. And in this respect, I want to thank you very much for the cooperation that we have with your ministry over all 13 years and more that we are working in the agricultural sector and in cooperation in this sector in Ethiopia. And I look forward to continue even more.
Ethiopia and African Development Bank signed $98 million grant agreements for first phase of Ethiopia-Djibouti transport corridor. The project will kick off in 2020 and implemented over a 5-year period. Olma Baina has a story.
Ethiopia and the African Development Bank Group have signed a $98 million USD grant agreement from the African Development Fund to help finance phase 1 of the Ethiopia-Djibouti road transport corridor project. The agreement was signed by Ahmed Shide, the Minister of Finance, on behalf of the government of Ethiopia, and Abdul Kamar, the African Development Bank Group's country manager in Ethiopia, according to a statement issued by the bank. The total cost of the project is $255 million USD, comprising an African Development Fund grant of $98 million to the government of Ethiopia, an African Development Fund grant of $5.3 million to the government of Djibouti, and a co-financing contribution of $151 million by the government of Ethiopia. The project will kick off in 2020 and be implemented over the 5-year period. The African Development Fund grant to landlocked Ethiopia's road transport sector is part of the bank's efforts to boost regional integration and connectivity, especially access to seaports. The project consists of the construction of the first 60 km of a 4-lane expressway section of the new 126 km stretch from Adama to Awash, and includes the design of a one-stop border post at the well. The project will enhance trade by significantly reducing transport costs, thereby accelerating the economic growth of Ethiopia and its neighbor Djibouti, as it is part of the main import-export corridor. The expressway is expected to benefit farmers and 3,000 truck drivers who work the 900 km between Djibouti and Finfinne, and youth who will receive over the 95% of the job opportunity during the construction phase. The bank's portfolio in Ethiopia comprises 24 operations worth about $1.7 billion USD, largely in transport, energy, water, and sanitation infrastructure, governance and accountability, private sector, and agriculture and food security. About 32% of the bank's operations are in road projects amounting to $550 million, including 4 ongoing projects covering about 610 kilometers in different parts of the country.
The Oromia Health Bureau underlined that the roll-off has expressed as crucial to ensure quality health service. The Bureau has a discussion with stakeholders here in Adama town. Leta Teresa has a story.
Oromia Health Bureau has held a health service conference in Adama town under the theme Moving Towards Universal Health Coverage by Ensuring Healthcare Quality. Experts of health drawn from across zones of Oromia, universities and Ministry of Health, non-governmental organizations and hospitals have attended the event. On the occasion, research papers have been presented for discussion. On the conference, Minister of Health, Dr. Amiraman, pointed out that health institutions of the country had carried out various activities to deliver quality health service. He said preparation is finalized to do promising works in the next fiscal year.
Over the past 2 years, we've done various works to ensure healthcare quality cooperating with all regions of the country. We've agreed to fulfill infrastructures, including electricity and internet, in all our healthcare centers by 2019-20. This year, we are able to reach water, internet and electricity access 35% in our healthcare centers. I believe we will enhance this coverage in the rest of health centers.
Head of Oromia Health Bureau, Dr. Derejet Uguma, for his part, stressed the importance to double the promising works done so far on quality health service provision by 1% in the upcoming 2019-20. He underlined that the role of all experts will be immense to realize the cause.
The work done is affirming healthcare quality, showing tremendous progress. Previously, we focused on universal healthcare coverage, but it's possible to work both on quality and coverage. Today, we are able to understand this from this meeting.
Urban Development and Construction Ministry disclosed that Proclamation of land utilization and payment of compensation renewed to solve problems observed in the sector. The ministry has briefed media on the new proclamation for payment of compensation declared by the House of People's Representatives. Addis Asafa.
Proclamation number 455/2005 of expropriation of land holdings for public purposes and payments of compensation proclamation has scored 13 years in Ethiopia. The proclamation has got its own defaults. The landowners were forced to leave their lands for development works without taking fair compensation payment. State Minister of Urban Development and Construction Tazor Gebrexiaber briefed media about the new proclamation for payment of compensation declared by House of People Representative on July 13, 2019. During the briefing, the State Minister underscored that the problems that both rural and urban landowners face when their land is taken for development works by the government.
በሀገራችን ከተሜነት በከፍተኛ ደረጃ እየተስፋፋ በመሆኑ
In our country, urbanization is expanding alarmingly, so that proclamations of land use and payment of compensation should be amended. In this case, both sides would be beneficiary. After we've researched on the old proclamation, we've amended and set a new proclamation of compensation payment.
Now onwards, there is no any plot of land given either to government or individuals freely, and that's why a new proclamation is said the State Minister.
ማድረግ የሚቻለው የመሬትን የመጠቀም መብት
The only possible way is providing land by keeping the right of land ownership in mind.
Head of Urban Development and Construction Management with the Ministry, Buzualem Admasu, noted that the new proclamation that is declared by the House of People Representative is designed to overcome the shortcomings that the people used to face for the past 13 years.
One of the problems of 455/2005 proclamation was forcing landowners for development to work, but in the new proclamation, this doesn't work.
Eritrea's President Isaias Afwerki held talks with senior Saudi delegation led by Lieutenant General Prince Fahad bin Turki bin Abdul Aziz, commander of the coalition forces against terrorism. Aklilu Gabru.
President Isaias Afwerki on August 6, 2019 received and held talks with senior Saudi delegation led by Lieutenant General Prince Fahad bin Turki bin Abdulaziz, commander of the coalition forces against terrorism. The meeting that was held at the Eritrean State Palace was focused on the development of bilateral relations between Eritrea and Saudi Arabia as well as security of the Red Sea region. The meeting was attended by Major General Humad Karikare, commander of the Eritrean Navy, and Colonel Malakan Kamfamariam, Chief of Staff of the Eritrean Navy, and Major General Yahya Mohammed Asiri, Naval Operation Authority of Saudi Arabia, Brigadier General Khalid bin Mohammed Ar-Ramali from Joint Forces Command, and Brigadier General Hassan bin Saad Al-Shahrani, Saudi Naval Operation.
That's it from me and the whole team. Many thanks for joining us.